It is likely that you are already aware of how significant quant, also known as QT, is going to be if you have been watching the channel for a considerable amount of time. And in terms of what quant is doing and what they are attempting to accomplish, I kind of sort of position them right next to Ripple in this space because, once again, they are both kind of heading towards the same exact future. It is not uncommon for a lot of people to make comparisons between XRP and QT. At the same time, I always ask, why are we comparing these two? We are attempting to build towards the internet of value. Why are we not branching them into the same group of projects that you are familiar with? I've always mentioned that Quant's overledger technology and even their new flow technology is complementary to what Ripple is trying to achieve, which, if you think about this, we're not really, fighting which firm is better or which, initiative is better. In point of fact, we are considering them to be two of the most important enablers of the Internet of Value. Let's travel all the way back to the year 2017. During that time, Ripple came up with the concept of the Internet of Values, which is essentially a universe in which money travels around the world at the same rate as information does. As of today, we are aware that this continues to be Ripple's primary emphasis. Even after the debut of ROUSD, which is a stablecoin, they are continuing to work toward that goal. In addition, if we are considering that, what about quantitative analysis? As far as we are aware, Gilbert Verdian has recently published a piece in which he discusses quant fusion. This post was about quant-safe multi-ledger rollups for the institutional Internet of Value. Corporate entities encrypt their traffic for the purpose of ensuring their privacy and security, similar to how IPsec and SSL VPNs are used over the internet and encrypted tunnels are used between corporate sites, data centers, and clouds. Public blockchains will be subjected to the same principles that they will apply. In a world where networks are intrinsically interconnected and interoperable, the current roll-up architectures for Layer 2 often operate on a single chain, which results in the same fragmentation and constraints as Layer 1. In the not-too-distant future, we see a scenario in which all corporations and organizations would operate their very own private secure tunnels on numerous Layer 1 networks, which will be a reflection of the encrypted network overlays that characterize the internet infrastructure of today. Quant Fusion enables them to start that trip right away by providing them with a new Layer 2.5 architecture that is comprised of multi-ledger rollups that make it possible to put corporations and institutions on chain in a secure and seamless manner. Fusion makes it possible to create multi-ledger rollups that span many Layer 1 blockchains. This has the effect of protecting users' privacy, bringing together assets that have been fragmented, incorporating enterprise-grade security, and improving the utility of infrastructure networks. Fusion was developed with the intention of facilitating the safe and smooth interoperability of tokenized assets on private blockchains with public networks. It was designed specifically for use in enterprise environments as well as internet-scale networks. This innovation makes it possible for private markets, tokenized money, and regulated digital assets to operate securely across blockchains while simultaneously meeting the stringent privacy, security, and compliance criteria that are demanded by institutions. This discovery unlocks billions of dollars in private markets. Therefore, once more, with what they are doing with Quant Fusion, this is enabling those enormous use cases that we talk about quite a bit, even with names like Ripple. As a result, this enhances the overall appearance of the room of. In addition to this, we are aware that Ripple and Quant have been participating in this game together for a considerable amount of time right now. Because of this, I believe that the Internet of Value term that Gilbert Verdian did use, and we already know that Ripple has been using this term for quite some time, is actually very interesting. This is because, once again, we know that the Digital Pound Foundation was established in 2021, and this was actually with a few major members joining. It has taken a significant amount of time to actually browse through the Explorer membership page, and two of those members that we are aware of today are, of course, Quant and Ripple. They will actually go to the page. Assuming that we have a look at this list, I would say that it is not any better, but in this particular instance, we can see Quant and Ripple working side by side on this list of members who are contributing to this. Therefore, I would like to reiterate that I have always mentioned that Quant and Ripple are two excellent companies in the industry in terms of the actual crypto-based projects that they are running. QT and XRP are two wonderful assets that you should actually have in your portfolio for the long-term future. This is especially true when we consider the utility feature that we are about to enter, quantities that make it possible. Moreover, Ripple is making it possible. It is therefore quite logically sound. Nevertheless, apart from that, even steady coins, is that correct? Quants recently published an excellent piece in which they discussed, stable coins that are at the center of their operations. Tokens known as stablecoins are digital assets that are backed by reserve assets. Their purpose is to ensure that a constant value is maintained while simultaneously enabling program transactions that are both quicker and more efficient. In the future, there is no question that they will be an essential part of the infrastructure that will support the financial system. However, how can the United Kingdom make the most of this opportunity? Ripple's ROUSD stablecoin is another option that we have available to us here. We are aware that Ripple has the goal of becoming a household name in the United Kingdom. We are aware that they have been concentrating their efforts on the United Kingdom for a considerable amount of time. As a matter of fact, we have seriously considered the possibility of ROGBP becoming a significant issue. We are already aware of the fact that the United Kingdom is eager to support stablecoins in a significant way. So, that Ripple should also get on board with that is something that makes a lot of sense. However, regardless of this, the movements that Quant is also making with stablecoins are, once again, a complement to what Ripple already possesses in their arsenal, which is, of course, a stablecoin based on the RLUSD. Nevertheless, the announcement is scheduled to take place on the 28th of July. What they are basically taking down is what stablecoins represent, which is more than simply a technological innovation. Stablecoins explain the backbone of the new digital economy, and what they are doing is basically breaking down what stablecoins represent. In the realm of financial services, they are set to become a force that brings about great change. Their identities are already known to us. Their operation is already familiar to us. The most bizarre aspect of this situation, however, is the opportunity window that the United Kingdom has, which is being broken down here by quantitative analysis. I have stated that I believe it is only a matter of time before we actually see the United Kingdom issue a stable coin. I believe this to be true. We do get it, but in point of fact, according to a report that was published in June 2025 by the Digital Pound Foundation and Innovate Finance, two firms that have Quant on board, the role that stablecoins will play in payments, capital markets, and embedded finance will become increasingly important as regulatory frameworks continue to develop and institutions begin to adopt digital rail. An entire digital money ecosystem will be created as a result of the convergence of stablecoins, CBCs, and tokenized deposits. This ecosystem will allow everything from micropayments to big value settlements, all while preserving the stability and confidence that is necessary for modern banking. This new world of finance is becoming a reality, and things like QuantFlow and even QuantFusion are various components of this, your future with QuantFlow. And this is exactly what is happening right now, where we are witnessing the actualization of this new world of finance. This allows, pretty much any person to pretty much deploy stable currency, deploy tokenized objects of value as well. In point of fact, we have here QuantFlow is a programmable digital money platform that is created with our Overledger technology and is ready to deploy via an application programming interface, API. When it comes to account automation and payment programmability, it enables financial institutions, fintech companies, and payment service providers to innovate and adapt their existing infrastructure, which will ultimately create the next generation of digital finance. The potential of programmable payments, intelligent payment orchestration, safe and compliant digital money infrastructure, and probability across banking and digital assets has been brought to our attention when we examine the use cases that are located down below. This makes it possible for any major participant to obtain access to flow and make use of it for stablecoins, tokenized deposits, tokenized assets, and payments in general. In addition, utilizing intelligent financial controls for liquidity settlements and money locks is something that can be done. This is the infrastructure for the new world of banking, also known as the Internet of Value, which is becoming a reality. This is the infrastructure. In addition, Quant continues to release an increasing number of updates that are designed to provide support for the aforementioned types of moves. And then on top of that, even more recently with the SEC, I've heard some very exciting news from the SEC Gov interim guidelines, which says that fully collateralized stablecoins such as Circle's USDC and Paxos's USDP may be considered as cash equivalents on corporate balance sheets. TradFi has been given the regulatory green light to incorporate stablecoins into core treasury settlements and payments infrastructure.